Lending her voice to one of the scariest horror villains, voice actress Elsie Lovelock joins me to talk all about her role as Mummy Longlegs from Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Hello, Elsie. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for having me. That was a lovely intro.
No, I always try. I sit down, right, before I start an episode, I watch This Morning because I absolutely love Philip and Holly. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
me
right,
too.
let's get tips from these two. Let's
Literally, they are so funny. I love them.
And then that's how they introduce their guests. They always come up with something like, I'm like, yeah, I'm stealing that.
Yeah, no, that's a good technique.
So how have you been? How's like COVID and things been treating you like since like with lockdown and everything?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, to be honest, like I've been all right. Yeah, it's been fine, really. I mean, like voice acting is like one of those very, very rare professions which wasn't really affected badly by COVID, which is good. So we're very, very lucky in that respect. Because I've got like a remote, home studio and stuff like that. So still been able to, audition and work. So yeah, and it's starting to go back to kind of quote unquote normal now, where it's like it's okay to go back into a studio and stuff now, which is good. But yeah, no, it was all right. 2020 was, hard like it was for literally everybody. But yeah, things are getting a lot better. So yeah, hopefully you're okay as well with everything, and like you got through it all right as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it didn't feel different to me personally because
Mm,
of I suffer with anxiety and things, so going out's difficult
yeah,
anyway. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
staying in was just like for the norm for me anyway.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. No, I can imagine like that kind of saved you in a way. It's just good to stay in. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it did. It saved me. Like I have not touch wood, have not caught COVID yet.
Yeah, same. Touch wood, touch wood. Like, I'm so glad that I haven't. Like, I've been, I'm amazed that I haven't, to be honest. I've still been being careful, but like, I'm still just like, oh God, it's literally like waiting around the corner. So, touch wood that we
Yeah.
don't get it.
So we're just going to dive right into the questions here. And
Yeah.
so, how would you describe your character to someone who hasn't played the game yet?
Oh, I describe Mommy as a kind of, I mean, she's very creepy, sort of kind of wants to just sort of she's I don't know, like it's difficult to describe her. She's scary. She's kind of comes across as quite cute, but then is actually pretty pretty freaky. And just wants to like play games and have fun, but in her own twisted way. I mean, there's obviously a lot wrong with her, but with the lore in the game, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's probably there might be a reason why the experiments, people like Huggy Wuggy and Mummy Longlegs, there might be a reason why they're kind of super scary and psychopathic like that, like they've been messed up in some way. So yeah, it's difficult to like describe her, but yeah, she's scary villain, but also kind of wants to make you feel safe and like we're playing games and having fun.
When I was introduced to the character through the game, I was like, why does she sound so Disney, but evilly Disney?
Yeah. I think that's like something that I actually kind of wanted to sort of include because because she's Mommy Longlegs, you want to kind of have that feeling where it's like she wants to come across as comforting at first, but then obviously something is really off. And that's what I really like tried to get across in the voice was that, she comes across as like a stereotypical 1950s, sort of like friendly mom, and then obviously she's completely crazed and psycho, so it comes across just really, really creepy and messed up.
Did the producers and directors give you like free reign over your character, like to make your voice in a certain way? Did they say you could do this? Did they give you a lot of free?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they did send me a reference for a character. I can't actually remember what the character was. There was one character I genuinely can't remember what the character was. I'm blanking completely, but they were like, we kind of like her to sound like similar to this, but we're willing for like, we're open for interpretation. So we actually tried like 3 different accents, because obviously I'm from the UK. So we tried like standard American, British, and I did like a Southern American, you know, like howdy y'all, you know, kind of thing. And so I sent you know, all these versions to them. They were like, oh, can we just, you know, go for the American, like the normal American version? I was like, sure. So it kind of started a bit more like high pitched, sort of cutesy. And then when I actually started recording her lines, it kind of turned more into a sort of like, it sort of settled into what it was in the game now, which is kind of like creepy and high pitched, but going more into like the sort of smooth, you know, lower tones, especially when she gets angry or she's trying to be intimidating or something. So it definitely went from being sort of, the blueprint was like a standard cutesy voice, going into the more kind of multifaceted, hopefully more multifaceted voice that it is now, sort of thing. And that kind of evolved while I was recording all the lines. So it's kind of cool, because I listened to like my old auditions and I was like, man, that's actually changed quite a bit. But yeah, we definitely like molded it into what it was. So I'm really glad that it's being like received as well as it is. I'm just really, really happy about that and really grateful.
Yeah, how do you feel about how it's all been received with the game? Like, I watched Daz Black play it the other day. Daz Black's a really good creator.
Yeah.
Markiplier, I saw that he was playing it as well.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy. It's honestly, it is nuts, because like a lot of voice actor work is quite, this is the wrong word, because obviously the people appreciate what you do, but it can be sometimes a bit thankless. Like you'll do what you feel is like a performance that you're proud of, and then it doesn't really kind of get any sort of acknowledgement or recognition kind of thing. Not that that's needed, you know, we're not that egotistical that we need all that, but it is really nice to see that there's like some of my voice acting which is actually being like noticed and appreciated in that sense, which is really nice, you know, that's like a super, super nice thing to happen. You know, again, not like I like need it or anything. I'm not like that, because I'm honestly just happy to do this job. Like any work I can get, I absolutely love it. Like I really wouldn't want to be doing anything else. But it is super nice just to sort of like have that one thing where people are hearing it and going like, oh, that's actually like really cool. You know, that's just super nice and like really validating. And it just kind of like, it's like, oh, you know, this is just the best job ever, you know, like when what you're trying to convey with a character gets across to people and actually affects them, like especially like where people were sort of reacting to like her, I'm going to get into spoilers, so just skip ahead a little bit. She dies and she gets ground up in this grinder, and a lot of people have been reacting quite strongly to that, because they're like, oh geez, you know, her screams were pretty freaky. And at the time when I was doing them, I was a bit kind of like, you know, I did several takes, I tried, you know, different intensities, and they just picked the one that they liked best. So it's nice to sort of hear that people are reacting to it so strongly, and that it came across, you know, in a good way. So yeah, overall it just feels really, really nice. I'm just super, super grateful that people, you know, are enjoying it, and that they're reacting to it, and that it's doing the job it's supposed to do, which is scare people. You know, she's supposed to be scary, and if I've done that job well, then I'm happy. So yeah, it's lovely.
You definitely did do the job play. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I'm clapping.
Oh God, no, thank you so much. Really, that does mean a lot. So I'm very grateful.
So, jumping back to the audition process, did you do any research prior to the role? Did the producers know how, we touched on this just a bit, like how they wanted the character to sound and act?
Yeah, no, well, the creators actually approached me, which was really strange, because that doesn't usually happen, trust me. And I was like, oh my Lord, this is like that Poppy Playtime game that was like really popular at the end of 2021. So I was like, oh geez, like, I felt a lot of pressure, because I was like, oh man, I want to do a good job here, because it would be like amazing to be in the game in any way. So I tried quite hard, which is why I said earlier, which is why I sent like 3 different versions of the voice, because I was like, I really wanted to like cover my bases here and like hopefully land this. And, you know, thank goodness I did. You know, I'm so, so grateful and happy. But yeah, they just sent me some artwork of her. And they were just like, yeah, she's just kind of creepy. She's going to be like, you know, chasing you, but also we want her to sound kind of, you know, sort of false friendly as well. And yeah, like everything I said earlier, really, it just went from there. Like, sent a few auditions and shaped it into what it is now.
I'm curious to hear how Mommy Longlegs would sound in a Southern American accent and also a British accent. Would you be happy to just give us a line in both British and South American?
Oh man, yeah. My audition was so funny. I listened to the British one and I was like, yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. Oh man, it was something like, the audition was like, I can't remember a line. I'm trying to think of a line. What's the line that she says? A new playmate. It's been so long. It was like,
oh, a new playmate. It's been so long since I've seen anybody here.
It kind of sounded a bit like that. It was a lot more like high pitched and cutesy. And then
the Southern American one was kind of like, hi, I'm Mommy. It's good to meet you,
kind of thing. And it was sort of, that was what I was trying to get across, kind of like a My Little Pony kind of Texas kind of thing. I don't know, but it just sounded super strange listening back to it. So I'm glad that it settled on what it was, and they definitely made the right choice picking the normal American one. I don't know. It's up to them at the end of the day.
Now the British one sounds really cute, while the South American one actually sounds creepy as well. I kind of have a feeling that they was actually trying to decide on standard American and Southern American, because it's really hard to act like from my
exactly. Exactly. I think with like, you can't go wrong with a general American accent. Like, I think if you do an accent which is kind of very regional to an area, it kind of leaves a lot of room open for people to be like, why does she sound like this, blah, blah, blah. But going with the standard accent is like, it's a safe bet. And it was definitely the good choice in the end, because we were able to mold that in lots of different directions. So yes, they made the right choice.
So, what got you into acting? Was there any particular person who inspired you to start?
Yeah, well, my life in a nutshell story is that I actually originally wanted to be an animator, because I absolutely love cartoons, video games. I've loved all that stuff ever since I was little. And I used to like play with my Beanie Babies and Barbies and give them all different voices and accents and everything. So I think I always had a love for it from the beginning, for acting and stuff like that. But I didn't really know it until much later, because I went to art school and stuff. And then during art school, I was in an opera where I got to do like a solo, and it was all kind of like, it was a very life-changing experience for me, because with the animation and the art stuff, it felt like I was just locked in a room all the time, just drawing, not really expressing myself the way I wanted to. And I had like a lot of imposter syndrome when I was doing art, because I was like, everybody is just so much better than me. What is the point of me doing this, kind of thing. And I did an animation for my final for the course, which was great. But during that time, I was doing the opera. This is when I was like 17. And I was just like, this is just what I want to be doing. Like, I just feel so like I actually have something to offer in this area. So since then, I started like my YouTube channel, and I've been uploading covers on there, since I was like 16 years old. And as of this interview, I'm 29. So, it's been quite a long time, like, getting close to 15 years now. And that really helped me express my love of acting. And since then, I did more like shows and stuff. And I worked abroad. I worked in Tenerife for 6 months, doing like entertainment. I've done cabaret in London. I've done lots of like, Amdram musical theatre productions and stuff. I was on Britain's Got Talent. And there's no footage of that. Thank the Lord, because it was so embarrassing. It's like I got 3 yeses out of 4, but Simon said no. And it was just all just embarrassing. Ugh, I'm so glad there's no footage of that. But I did all that kind of stuff. And then voiceover kind of fell into my lap in like 2015, where I was like, actually, I'm going to give it a go and like actually audition for stuff. Because I kind of had this epiphany where I was like, this is not going to land in my lap, these jobs. I really have to like push myself out there and really work for them. So that's what I did. And I'm really lucky that I met a lot of amazing people who like recommended me for things along the way and helped me get into things. Like I wouldn't be anywhere without them. So I'm just so, grateful for all the help, because you need help in this industry. Like you do need help. You need recommendations, you need friends, you need people who are going to like nudge you in the right direction. And then you do the rest with your own drive. So yeah, and then I'm super lucky. And then I went like full-time voiceover, self-employed in 2018, and that's it. It's been like that ever since. And yeah, like I said earlier, like I just could not be happier with how my life has turned out in that respect. Like I'm just so happy that I get to still sing, voiceover, jobs like this, like Poppy Playtime. Like it's all just so much fun. So yeah, sorry if that went on too long. That was too long-winded, but I just tried to like condense my journey into a into a nutshell.
You should be very proud of yourself. What a really good journey.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, I'm really pleased where I am now, because it's been really hard, because I've literally like I dragged myself up from like the very bottom, and to be in a position now where it's like this is just, I'm super super pleased with everything. So yeah, thank you so much.
It's okay. It's coming from a podcast host. Like, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, I honestly really mean it.
Yeah. I only want to touch on it a little bit of Britain's Got Talent, because how come there's no footage?
Because Britain's Got Talent is, I mean, I'm gonna like really call them out here, but whatever, I don't care. I'm never gonna go on it again. It's really rigged and like schemy and set up. Like you can go through, but basically if you're not interesting enough to be on TV, they'll just send you home. So that's what happened to me. I technically got through. I got 3 yeses out of 4, which is a yes. It's a get through. Yeah. And then when we were leaving, the producer was like, you might be contacted to come back, but you might not. So just keep an eye out. And I never was. So I was like, whatever. I mainly did it for the experience, because I was scouted for it. So like I got, because I was posting videos at the time, and I had someone be like, oh, do you want to try out? So I was like, why not? And it was definitely the most nerve-wracking experience of my life. I wouldn't wish it on anyone unless you really want to do it. Like you're really putting yourself out there. And it was hard. I got a good reception, and I got nice compliments and everything, but yeah, I would say it's definitely not a genuine thing. It's definitely like very rigged. Like, those sign-up tables when they like show people like putting their name down, that was all completely fake. Like they just made like a fake table, and they were like, we're gonna do the sign-ups now. Yeah.
Fun story. I actually went with a friend who went to audition for Britain's Got Talent.
Really?
But this was only in front of the producers. It was not for the judges or anything like that.
Were they singing, or were they doing something else?
I think they sang, yeah. And she came out.
Yeah.
She came out. She was like, they all said no. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's really gutting. Like it's difficult, because like, even like Simon Cowell saying no to me, you always watch TV and you watch the singers and you watch X Factor and stuff, and you're like, oh, surely I would be able to do this. And then you actually get up there, and then you hear that, and it's like, oh man. But that it doesn't define me, or doesn't define anybody. You're still people still talented. What they say doesn't really matter, as long as you got people who enjoy what you do. But yeah, it was an interesting experience, and I'm just really glad that there's no footage, because yeah. Hell no.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where you would just want to erase from.
Literally, I would be trying to take all the videos down and just like never want anybody to see it. So yeah, thank God.
But that's the thing. Like these days, people don't really need TV to get the recognition they deserve.
Exactly. You really don't. Yeah.
YouTube and things really excelled creators and singers.
Exactly. Even TikTok. Like, I mean, the guy, Sam Ryder, who was literally on Eurovision last weekend, he was a TikTok singer, and, and then he's representing the UK. So it's like, you really don't need to go on these shows anymore. It's not like the early 2000s where it was shows like, I don't know, America's Next Top Model and X Factor and stuff, where it was like, oh, I need to go on this show to be noticed. You just don't need to do that anymore. There are much better ways to put yourself out there, which are less humiliating, for sure.
Yeah. It's this, they all run a narrative on TV, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's the narrative. Like, because I was bullied in high school and stuff. They were like obsessed with the fact that I was like bullied and stuff. They were like, so say how this helped you, recover and everything. And it was like, man, I don't want to go into all that. It's none of your business. Like, and people could be also making it up, like who's to know, like someone could be going on there and everything that's happened to them, they could be faking it. You don't know. It's all just like, it's so subjective, and it's TV. You just don't know what the truth is. So yeah, I was like, that's not for me.
Talking of Eurovision, I was on the edge of my seat the entire
Oh
voting
my God,
process.
wasn't it so great? Oh my God, I was so drunk, but I was like so happy. Oh my God, it was amazing. Yeah, it was so good. I was so proud of him. It was a fantastic Eurovision.
So next question is, what is the day in the life of Elsie like?
Oh man, yeah, I get up. Sometimes I have workout sessions with my PT, who is lovely. Because I'm like sort of on like a weight loss journey at the moment, which is going good actually. I'm back on track now after a couple of months of like kind of being off track. But no, I've done well. So I'll get up and do that a few times a week. Yeah, and then I'll eat and then might watch a bit of YouTube. I've been watching like travel videos at the moment of like these guys who go on first class on airplanes and stuff like that. Which has been like my new thing. So I'll maybe watch like a few of those videos for a bit and then I'll go upstairs, turn the PC on. I write everything on a to-do list, like on an actual piece of paper, because I'm not very good at like managing Google Docs and, you know, Excel sheets and all that, which other people do. So I just write it all down and then I'll just go through the day and just record what needs to be recorded and just tick it off if it's been done. Sometimes, you know, there'll be like auditions sent to me which need to be done like that day or in a couple of days. So I'll, you know, do some of those and that's about it really. And then I'll come off, have dinner and then chill in front of the TV. And then usually at night I'll play some games with my friends in my Discord server. At the moment we're playing like Sea of Thieves again, but we've been playing Apex Legends and some other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my standard day really. It's not really very interesting. Like get up, work. You know, I just feel very, very fortunate to work from home because I used to do retail and working in a call center and stuff. And I was like still trying to do auditions and recording sessions throughout all of that. And it just feels amazing to like actually have all the time that I need to get stuff done, you know, on my own time. Like I'm so happy that I get to do it all from home. So thank you, universe. But yeah, that's pretty much it really.
Like I love Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is so fun to play with friends.
It's so much fun. It's so stressful because like you'll get a load of treasure and then you'll like pray that you can go back and not be attacked by something and lose it all, you know. So I was so stressed last night because we just pillaged this fort and it took ages and then we were going back to sell it all and I was just like, oh, please let us get back safe. But apart from that, yeah, it's super fun to play with your friends. I love that game.
Oh, that happened to me once. Me and my sister was playing and we spent hours looking for this treasure. We finally found it. Was just about to get back and someone has sank us and attacked us.
Literally, it's so annoying. Oh my God, I hate it. Or the Kraken shows up or the Megalodon or whatever. And it's just like, everybody go away. Leave me alone.
when the Kraken shows up, it's like, panic.
That's
panic.
That is the worst. I hate it so much. It's a fun game though. As much
yes,
as
it is. It is really a really fun game. Yeah. Do you ever practice your skills to best increase your experience?
What you mean, like with voiceover and singing and stuff, like practicing?
With both. Yeah.
I mean, I try to do like. I don't usually do a lot of workshops. I've done a couple this year. But I prefer mainly to just sort of like practice by like, you know, reading with friends or going to like in-person workshops. Like I went to an event a couple of weeks ago called Get Your Game On, which was run by the VoiceOver Network, which was amazing because it was like you have talks from like voice actors and casting directors and you get to meet people, like really network, and that was great. But yeah, I usually just do kind of, I don't really I should, I mean, that's not a very good answer, is it? Like, I should be kind of like, you know, sort of practicing more, but I find that like, I'm lucky enough to have the work that I do and I just try to focus on that and like try and sneak in a workshop or, you know, doing some reading with friends, you know, voice actor friends or stuff like that, or networking events whenever I can. But yeah, I mean, I do like vocal warm-ups. I try to keep my singing kind of in check because I find that if you don't sing for a while, when you get a job when you've got to sing, you kind of get a bit like, ooh, that sounded a bit crap. You know, like a bit rusty. But yeah, no, I try to do what I can really.
When I was younger, like I wanted to be voice actor myself, and I used to do, like, this might sound a bit sad, but I used to, like,
No, it's not.
get Audacity, and I'd always sit there and I'd just, like, voice act random scenes, especially from Halo Combat Evolved, because that was my favourite game growing up. So
oh my gosh. That's
just,
literally what I used to do, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe I should put that on my portfolio. No,
yeah, but that's the thing. Like anything like that is so good. Like that's what I literally did on YouTube. Like I would just record myself like singing all these Disney songs and anime songs that I loved, and that actually like shaped me, like my skills, because I would learn to like control my voice better and stuff like that. So anything that you can do in that respect is so helpful. So that's totally relatable.
I wouldn't say I'll pursue voice acting now, however, but I wanted to do normal acting. I was going to start doing like acting groups, but there's nothing around here. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was going to ask what area you're in, but because it's being like, because it's a podcast, I'm like, obviously you don't have to say. But yeah, that's completely understandable, because like it is very difficult to find like, you know, even Amdram or community theatre in some areas, they just don't have it.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. So I understand that. Yeah.
Asa Butterfield was doing like a voice acting. It was with a company called Red something. I can't remember the name because it was years ago. And I was like, we're doing like acting groups down in London, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I might do this, and it was like $5,000.
Oh my god!
See,
that's what I hate. It's like, you know, everybody gets told that they should be getting, you know, if they want to be an actor, they got to do classes and stuff. But it's so like not accounting for the people that cannot afford like the thousands of pounds for these classes. You know, it's like even my community theatre group, I had to like pay to get into it, like pay a fee. You know, it's like, for God's sake, like I know they need money to keep it running like everything else, but it's like, you know, some of us just want to do it. And we don't want to have to pay like, you know, hundreds or thousands of pounds. You know, it's just like, oh, crying out loud. But yeah, I totally feel that.
But the way they could make money back is by charging for shows and things like that. And
yeah, exactly. It's like, you have the money. Why not just like, I don't know. Oh, it irritates me. I could rant for ages, so I won't.
But yeah,
I totally feel that though.
Yeah, like the only reason it was $5,000 just because I support Phil's there. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that is just that makes me mad.
So next question is, if you could craft and create your own cocktail inspired by your character. I love alcohol. This is why I got an alcohol question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Oh my god, yeah.
What would some of the ingredients be for this cocktail?
Oh man, it'd have to be pink. So I'm thinking like a cosmopolitan or something like that. And then, oh man, like pink and blue, pink and turquoise kind of thing. So I don't know, like there's so many pink drinks that you could have, or you could have like a pink, like a sparkly rosé or something like that, and put like some frozen blueberries in it or something. Or you could have like some, you know, like those wacky cocktails you can get where they've got like sweets chucked in them and everything. All manner of things, you know, like piled up, or honeycomb or whatever. You could have something like that, like a sweet cocktail, but have like some strawberry laces like wrapped around the glass or like around the top of the cup or something like that, because she's all twisty and stretchy. Or like I mentioned when we did the Twitter live, like the fizzy Coca-Cola bottles that are like pink and blue.
Yeah.
You could like have them like on the side, or like some sugar around the rim or something like that, because she's so sweet. And then the actual drink itself could be like really like bitter or like sour or something like that, because, you know, she's actually scary underneath. God, there's so many options for like pink and blue. You could really go crazy. Yeah, that's a good question. I like that. I kind of like want a cocktail now.
Oh yeah, and me. But the thing is, it's like the weather is so nice today. I want to go pub. I want to go to the pub.
I know, same. I'm just like, I just want to sit in the garden and just like have an iced coffee or something like that. It's just
after our Twitter Spaces session on, it was last Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
Friday, I literally went straight to the pub afterwards.
Yeah, no, I do not blame you at all. Because, like, doing a live as well, like, it makes you anxious.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
seeing people, like, popping in and everything, it's like, oh, God, you know, it does make you
Yeah,
scared.
yeah.
So I completely get it.
And-
I was like that too. I was like, oh, got a week now.
and like, it's the thing, like, I've got to keep the conversation going. I don't want it to go dead and then people get lose interest.
I know,
So, like,
same.
I'm
Yeah, don't worry, because I totally get that. Like, I've done like some panels and stuff at cons, and there's just no like back and forth between, you know, me and the audience or whatever, and it all just gets really like, it's like, you know, I had that when I was hosting in Tenerife as well. I'd be like, so guys, you know, what do you think about this? And it would just be like, brr, brr, you know, freaking crickets. So I
Yeah.
completely, I completely get it.
Normally, at the start of podcast episodes, I normally do like a game with the guest who's involved. Like, we were doing like a would you rather, like kill, marry, or befriend kind of game.
Yeah.
But I've trying to think of like some more interesting games I could do. So is there any like suggestions? Because you've done hosting. Did you say you've done hosting?
Yeah.
So have you got any suggestions for like games we could do with guests?
Oh, I do. I'm so sorry. I actually have no idea, because it was all like kind of interactive sort of stuff, all like music related. So I could like play it on the, you know, the sound system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And otherwise it was like quizzes or other stuff like that. So I'm so sorry. I don't know any like games that we could kind of, I mean, like the would you rather kind of game sounds funny. Or, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have any games.
No, it's okay. It's but I was just like randomly thinking because
Yeah.
because like I use this podcast as a way my experience to finally get out there and do panel hosting or presenting or I'm hoping one day it will help.
Yeah, no, it will. It definitely will. This all really helps, you know, especially like interacting with people that you haven't met. Like, it's very important to like manage it and, you know, in an effective way. And I think you do that really, really well. So I don't think you've got anything to worry about, you know.
So next question is, for roles that require so much strain on your voice, what kind of vocal remedies do you do at home to help?
Yeah, I mean, vocal warm-ups like for singing are super, super useful, even if you're doing a voiceover thing. So if you have to scream or shout or whatever, just getting your voice like super warmed up just breaks it out of like that kind of, you know, like when you wake up kind of phase, like sort of stuck, not really able to move. The vocal warm-ups kind of get it really going, so that when it comes time to do that, you're better equipped to like give a better performance, because you can kind of push yourself a bit. I mean, with voiceover and like the screaming and everything, like it just matters about how many you do. So like if you're going to do some screamy takes, don't do more than a certain amount. Or if you can feel that it's starting to hurt, stop and have some tea or some water and then come back to it. Like, you never want to push it to the point where you're walking out like, because you may not feel it like in the moment, but the next day you could wake up and be really croaky. Like, I've literally had that happen where I felt fine, and then the next day it was starting to hurt. Like, I could feel the pain coming.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say that a lot of people don't really say is like, try and get some decent sleep if you can. Obviously, if you're like an insomniac, you know, then I'm sorry, but like if there's a way that you can, or try to go to bed earlier, or just get a bit more sleep, because trying to do this on a lack of sleep, you know, like when you're really, really tired. Like, I went to bed, you know, super late because of the storm last night. I was awake and I woke up just feeling like I can't really handle anything. So I'd say definitely getting some decent rest, even if you have a nap or something, and then do some warm-ups after that. That really helps, because it's just like you've got that reserve of energy. Another thing I do is that I drink a tea, which is a really amazing concoction if you can make it. This is like the optimal ingredient, so like don't worry if you want to make it, don't worry if you don't have these. But I'd say like get a herbal based tea, so like a lemon and ginger tea bag, put actual lemon and ginger in it, so like squeeze lemon juice into it, put lemon slices into it, sliced ginger, put that into it. Lots of honey. Manuka honey is better, but I do understand it is really expensive. But it's just like higher grade, so it's like really nice, and you just mix that in there as well. Getting that nice balance between like sweet and sour is really nice for this drink. Another thing is there's like a Chinese throat medicine that a lot of voice actors use, which is called Ninjom, and you can get it on Amazon and stuff. And it's basically like, I can't remember what like the base ingredient is. It's some kind of fruit or something, but it's like got this kind of like sort of dark cherry taste, and it's like a syrup. So I would put that in as well, mix it all together. And then if you really want to keep pushing it, you can put like a tiny bit of turmeric in, like the spice, because it's like an anti-inflammatory. Another thing that worked for me, sorry, I will wrap this up, I promise, because there's just so many ways I could talk about with this. Another thing that really worked for me when I had like the worst throat infection of my life was raw garlic. So like just literally getting the clove that's raw. I mean, it makes your breath smell for ages afterwards, but it's worth it. Getting the clove that's raw and like eating it and kind of holding it sort of at your throat, if that makes sense. And like swallowing a lot and really getting the essence. Like that was the only thing, because I couldn't even talk. Like my throat was so inflamed, I couldn't even speak. And garlic was the only thing that kind of got me to that stage where I could, kind of have some relief, because I tried everything. I tried like fizzy drinks, lozenges, throat spray. I was trying actually everything, and garlic was the only thing that worked. And one of my friends taught me that. They had a role in an anime which required so much emotional screaming and total vocal stress, like just through and through. And they told me to have garlic, and they gave me garlic because I was in LA at the time, and they gave me some at their house, and it was like literally the only thing that helped. So I would also highly recommend that. But honestly, it's just knowing your limits, not pushing it. Do a limited number of takes. If you're in a session, a good director will always keep checking on you to make sure that you're okay. So if a director isn't doing that for shouty lines, then they're not a very good director, or the project isn't really being managed very well, kind of thing. Because if you go and do a proper project, they'll always like check that you're okay and give you a break, So sorry, that was super long-winded, but like that's, I could answer so many aspects of that question.
Yeah.
But yeah. Those are my tips.
The tea is nice, like
that's lovely. Yeah. Really nice. Honestly, like when next time you have a sore throat, I would highly recommend it. It's really nice. It's like sweet and sour, but also you can really feel it working. It's like a kind of a warm, sort of sweet sour, but also works because it's got like anti-inflammatory properties in it, like the ginger and the turmeric, and the citrus feels nice. Yeah, and the ninjom is good. So it all works together, and it sort of really settles it down. So highly recommend that.
Next time I've got a sore throat, I'm going to shove garlic down the throat.
Eat some garlic cloves. Yeah, it works. Trust me.
So if you could adapt your character, Mommy Longlegs, what would you add to your character?
I don't know. That's kind of tough. I mean, in honesty, I just like to see more of her. Like, I would like to see more of her origin story, how she got that way, kind of thing. I have literally no idea what they're planning to do. I have no idea if I'm going to come back. I don't have an idea about anything. But it would be amazing to act out, what happened to her, like who she was before this happened, sort of thing. Because it's hinted at in a sheet that you find that she actually had a name, which is Marie Payne. In the game, and so and everything was the result of an experiment. So I'd love to be like, who is she? Who was she before this happened? What made her this way? Why did this happen? I'd love to delve into those sort of aspects, which would be a lovely thing to explore. But obviously, I have no idea what they're planning. So, but yeah, ideally, in my mind, that's what I personally would love to explore with her. But I mean, what I've been able to do in terms of the character already has been amazing. It's been so much fun. Like, honestly, every single time they sent me a script to see, I'm getting my throat's like going already. Every single time they sent me a script to record for her, I was just like, oh, I can't wait. It's so much fun. I really enjoyed it, like genuinely enjoyed it. So yeah, I don't think I'd change anything. It would just be super fun to explore more, if that makes sense.
Well, I like that. I would like to see more of your phenomenal voice.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to just take 5, just have a drink? Are you okay? Do you need a drink?
No, I'm all right. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Oh, okay, that's good then.
Yeah.
So let's see. We touched on this a bit on the Twitter Spaces, but it's if your character was a sweet, what would it be? And you touched a bit on it, saying the Coke
Yeah, the
bottles.
fizzy Coca-Cola bottles or strawberry laces. Definitely. That's the answer to
Yeah,
that
like
question.
some really
No other candies, really.
Yeah, some like really sour strawberry laces.
Yeah, sour strawberry laces that were like stretchy and stringy. Yeah, that would definitely be it.
With the game being so popular, how do you maintain your mental health? Have you received any media training? Do you do any sort of yoga? Every time I ask this question, most of the voice actors or actresses are always like, I've been getting into yoga a lot. So what have you been doing to maintain a healthy mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I can't, sort of speak for what works for everybody else, but for me personally, I find that just stepping back from the things that give you an inkling of struggle, if you can, really helps preserve your sanity. So I don't really interact, like, for example, like this pains me to say it because a lot of people are probably just genuinely being nice, but like I don't reply to any random DMs I've gotten about the character or anything like that, because as much as I would love to, because like I said, I'm sure there are people who are just being genuine and just want to say how much they liked it, which I super appreciate, by the way. It's a bit too much of a risk to kind of interact with everything, because you don't know what people are going to be like, because sometimes they'll be a fan of something and they'll try to interact with the person or thing that they're a fan of, and then when they get a response, they take that as like a green light to just go nuts and just kind of like message all the time and sort of demand people's time. I mean, I've seen it happen so many times with like Twitch streamers and voice actors who have gotten messages and emails and they've been like, oh, thank you so much, really appreciate it. And then the person will just like keep sending messages, keep sending emails and stuff. So I try to like keep everything pretty limited, pretty locked tight, try to show my appreciation in other ways. Like the other day I made like a TikTok doing a few of her lines and stuff like that, and I commented on like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier's videos just saying like, oh, it's so cool that you've played this and I'm really happy to see it and all this kind of stuff, So yeah, for me, I don't do yoga, but I do lots of exercise, and I think that's been helping a lot as well, because it just makes me personally feel together. Like if I don't exercise, then I feel like I'm just kind of not in a great place mentally, because I'm like, oh God, I really should have, been moving today. And the endorphins help as well. Like, it just feels like so good when I've done like a cardio session and you come back and you're all sweaty and then you have a shower and it's like, even though you're tired, you just feel kind of like refreshed, like you've done something productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's speaking of productivity as well, like just keeping productive helps me too. Like even if I don't have a lot of work, I'll try to like be productive in other ways, like doing other tasks that I need to do, like finance stuff or anything to do with my website or sort of, general maintenance or stuff like that, or just going around the house and doing a bunch of cleaning or sorting stuff out, just makes me feel so much better. Yeah, I would highly recommend yoga and meditation. I know that works for a lot of people. And honestly, I wish I could meditate more, but I think I'm just too impatient. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but like, I find it difficult to like sit down and center myself for a bit. I would rather put that time into doing, like I said, like productive things. But I've had so many people say that meditation is absolutely fantastic. And of course, yoga is yoga. You can never go wrong with yoga. It's brilliant. But yeah, that's it for me. Sort of in a nutshell, just sort of preserving myself and not putting myself too out there. Don't get into any online arguments or anything. Don't comment on something negative, even though you might desperately want to,
Yeah, I can imagine, like, you see something that you really have an opinion on. I want to comment on this.
Yeah, it's like you hear someone say something, it's like, I've seen a lot of people sort of saying like, oh, she sounds like, Spinell from Steven Universe or blah, blah. And I'm like, I genuinely didn't use that as an influence. No. But I'm not going to say anything because it's like, people are allowed to think that. They're allowed to have their opinion. They're allowed to think what they think. And, it's a compliment. I just have to see it that way, because she's a cool character. And even though that may not have been the case, it's still cool to see people say it. So you just have to try and twist it in a different way and, just take it with a pinch of salt and not interact with everything,
Yeah, going back to the exercise to help maintain positive mental health, I've been doing Just Dance on.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
And, you know, I've felt like, oh, you know what? Dancing to a K-pop song is actually really
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Like just dancing to songs that you love. Like even
Yeah.
that is great exercise in itself, and it lifts your mood because it's music, and you know, music is absolutely fantastic for me mentally. Like if I'm, you know, sad, I will listen to a song that gives me strength, or you know, makes me feel happy, and it always works. You know, even if it's a piece of music, you know, I have like scores from movies, and I'll listen to it and it just instantly makes me feel better, you know, like just little stupid things like that. I mean, like obviously if you've got a more in-depth problem, you know, I'm speaking to just moods, but you know, for me personally, like that stuff helps a lot.
Have you seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon before?
Yes, I love that film. It's amazing.
Yeah, I literally religiously listen to the soundtrack. It is so freaking
isn't it
good.
amazing? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love the soundtrack to that movie too. It's beautiful. I actually like watched that movie recently and I was listening to the soundtrack again and it was just like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I love it. Yeah, it just makes you feel so tranquil.
Yeah, like my ears thank me afterwards.
Yeah,
literally.
I'm like that with the Lord of the Rings soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so there's this really good artist who does like Celtic and fantasy music, and his name's Adrian Ziegler, I think. Who does really, really good Celtic music, fantasy, medieval music, and it is beautiful.
It's just so gorgeous, isn't it? Because like you listen to it and it's like, although it would kind of suck to be in medieval times, it really does transport you to a different place. And you're just like, you know, this is our history and it's just amazing. I do love me a good Gregorian chant as well. Like that really does take me to a different place. It's just so mystical and just like so lovely, you know. So I love them too.
Yeah, that is really, really good. So, just wrapping things up now. Lastly, could you perform some voice lines that were your favourite?
Yes, I'm gonna try and think of some off the top of my head. What does she say? I'll do like the one at the beginning, which I like. When she, oh god, I can't even remember.
A new playmate. It's been so long.
Mommy something.
Mommy heard that Poppy was going to just give you the train code to escape. Now, how is that fun?
I like doing that. That was fun. And obviously, like the angry ones, but I'm not gonna like yell. The mic will be like, but yeah, honestly, all of it was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah. My favourite one was obey the rules or I'll tear you apart and eat your insides while you're still alive.
I'll tear you apart and eat your insides while you're still alive.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, sitting here and being able to talk to voice actors and actresses, and then when they do their lines, I sit here and I'm in complete like nerd mode.
Yeah, same. Literally, my favorite thing is like watching behind the scenes of a show or something, and the character's got this absolutely wacky voice, and then you like they interview the voice actor, and they're just like, yeah, so yeah, I did this, and it's just like they're completely normal. Like the talent is just, it's always something I severely respect, and like everybody who was in the game did, like, gotta shout them out. They did such an amazing job, you know, like they really, really did. And it's just a credit to the game. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful to have been part of it. I really am.
You can experience Elsie's phenomenal voice by buying Poppy Playtime. Chapter 2 now available on Steam. You can follow Elsie Lovelock on Twitter and everywhere else. Is it just Elsie Lovelock? I know Twitter's just Elsie Lovelock.
Twitter is at Elsie Lovelock. YouTube is just Elsie Lovelock. And yeah, if you want to hire me, My messages are open. My email is there, as long as it's a proper project. But
Yes.
yeah,
Don't
no,
harass her.
yeah. No, I know they wouldn't, but yeah, that's kind of it, really. Yeah, Twitter and YouTube are sort of my main things. But yeah, thanks for that shout out. That was very nice.
No problem at all. Mentally Obsessed is also doing a giveaway on Twitter right now to win a signed print from the lovely
yes.
Elsie Lovelock.
Yes, I have. I've only got one mommy print at the moment, but I should have more as well, and they'll also be on my Streamily store at some point too. Which I'll put a link to that on my website because I keep forgetting to do that. But yeah, no, Streamily, Elsie Lovelock, there'll be prints on there soon. Oh yes, we are doing a giveaway, which will be cool. So yeah.
Streamily.com/Elsie Lovelock.
Yep, I think that's it.
Yes, it is. I've
It
just
is.
checked.
Cool, I can't remember. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much, Elsie, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to sit here and interview you.
Oh, you too. It's been a pleasure to be interviewed by you. You've done such a fantastic job. Like, you're such a great host, and I'm really, really happy that you brought me on. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I need like Yelp reviews.
I give you 5 stars.
No, thank you so much. I'm incredibly proud to be joined with the voice of Bella Dimitrescu, Becca Pruitt.
You know, I'm like, that naturally comes out of me, you know, but I don't actually do it in public. But sometimes behind closed doors, I'm like, ugh. It's that, you know, Irish Scottish part of me, you know, that comes out. It gets a little fiery.
Yes.
But I control it, you know, with humanity. I just imbibe it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Don't we all?
Right?
So next question is, if you could write or reprise your role in an upcoming DLC or even a spin-off film TV show, learning a bit more about House Dimitrescu, would you want to give your input and would you act in it?
Yes. And yes, absolutely. I would love to give input if they wanted it, but I had to say that Capcom are kind of brilliant. I mean, they crafted both.
From my all-time favourite sci-fi TV show, Star Trek Voyager, Queen Mirror in Gears 5, Star Wars, and many more. Super excited to introduce Caroline Seymour to the show.
Who was your support then when you were a kid?
Mainly my mum. My mum was the route of support.
And she knew that you were gay?
Yeah, she knows, yeah.
When did you tell her, or did she always know?
She was like, oh, I've always known.
Good. Yeah, good.
She was very supportive.
I still don't. I mean, I've never understood why people care.
Yeah,
it's just.
I know. It's like you shouldn't really need to come out, but you know, it's society.
You know, it's called human being. It's called human being.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Valorant, F in the crew mat talks all about Astra.
I was extremely positive. And people used to always say, you know, I don't really drink and all that because my energy is quite high. And people always like, how are you happy and you're not drinking, And sort of, how do you always have this energy? And it was just this internal joy because I was doing what I felt I was called to do. Yeah. And I think what that did was blind me to sort of the reality that, one, not everyone will like you. Two, not everyone will want to like you. There are people who will work really hard not to like you.
Yeah.
3, you have to understand that everyone has a different view or experience of life, and that's what informs them and their decisions and their behavior.
My inspiration is Timothy Chalamet. Love Timothy Chalamet. I think he's a very, very good actor. Yeah, and Carrie Fisher as well. Carrie Fisher was amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many I could name. The list could go.
It's hard to pick one.
Exactly, it is, yeah. So next question is, in your opinion, how can someone maintain their mental well-being in this industry? I ask this question a lot, but everyone's got a different take on this question. So that's why I always include it, because it's always a different answer.
Yeah, and I think it's a difficult thing to get a grasp of. I think that's why we have so many issues in this industry around depression, around addiction. And not to say that those aren't issues elsewhere, because they obviously are things that people, myself included, struggle with. I think in this industry, there's just a highlight on it because there's a highlight on everything. Once you once you become known enough, kind of everything changes. And that's been a big experience for me with Resident Evil. Is it's no longer just my family and friends watching what I do.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. I need a weapon. And I need you to join me on the Mentally Obsessed podcast at 5 p.m. GMT, the 30th of November, on all the usual podcast platforms. And together, we will finish the fight.